So, imagine this. You have a formula that gets you powerful jobs at Apple, Google, Tumblr, Airbnb, and Lyft. And that formula gets you 100 successful job interviews where you start working with CEOs on major product launches in rooms where all the critical decisions are being made. And then one day, you get a meeting invite from HR, and you're being let go. That happened to me 4 times in a row. And I kept it a total secret. I was so shackled to shame that it almost took my life. But by the grace of God, that didn't work either. And now I'm here with you. And I recognize that my real job is to make my mess the message. Thank you. To use what I have learned getting hired and fired by some of the best. I call it the technology of courage, and my intention is to share it and offer it in such a way that it may help you on your own journey to find purpose and peace in a world that seems to have gone off its rocker. Now, I know that some of you in this room are asking, how in the heck does something like that even happen? I get it. I've asked myself that many a times. And the truth is, I used to justify my behavior by comparing myself to cilantro or cilantro. You know, I would say like 90% of people love me, 10% hate me, and I'm okay with that. But the truth is, I wasn't okay. I cared what everyone thought. And I cared what everyone thought because I was looking for love and worthiness in a world where I never felt like I belonged. You see, I'm first generation Latino from New York. I was born cross-eyed, light-skinned, thick and gay. And I was also in a home full of hurt. My mom cleaned houses, and my dad fixed train tracks. They were young, and they loved to hate each other. And oftentimes, they'd get into the most vicious fights with me in the crosshairs. And I would often run to my room and lock the door and put the music up and just cry. And my parents got divorced, and my dad got really good at taking his pain out on me. No matter what I did, I had my first job at 12, and yes, I was a telemarketer off the books. I had my Roth IRA at 14, and I was the president of 5 different clubs in school by 16, but that didn't matter. And so one day my dad comes home from work angry. He comes into my room and rips up my college application papers, smacks my whiteboard against the wall, and says, "Get out, I'm done." That was my role model, y'all. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because I had to leave home while still in high school. And that day remains one of the hardest and most humiliating days of my life. So, what happens when you grow up in that type of experience? When the truth of who you are is denied relentlessly, aggressively, audaciously. What happens? You learn how to cope with the crazy, and you find ways to hustle for your worth, and you armor up. And so that's what I did. I pushed down that pain, and with my armored heart, I was in it. I got a full scholarship to NYU, and then I landed aboard a series of tech rocket ships, often the only Latino in the room, working with CEOs and celebrities on million-dollar brand campaigns, launching products that billions of people use today, like the iPad and Google Drive, and soon self-driving cars. That was at work. Outside of work, I was partying hard and fighting monsters. Let me tell you, I was trying to date every Tom, Dick, and Harry I could find in this city. Seriously, I was looking for love in all the funny places, wearing my busyness as a status symbol so that I could be everywhere and do everything more perfectly. How many of us know what that feels like? Yes. And it worked, y'all. It worked until it didn't. You see, the higher I climbed, the more I noticed what was really going on. Each room, as it became more privileged and powerful, something inside me changed. I could feel the tightness on my chest. I could feel the vibration and the tingles through my body. The sharpness of my focus. Someone would say or do something behind closed doors, and I would turn into someone I was not. I'd be like, oh no, she didn't just say that. Oh no, he didn't just say that. I activated into someone that I was not. In public, company leaders would profess a value, but then they didn't practice them. I would see people managing with shame and fear, not leading with their heart. And the misogyny and the prejudice and the politics, it awakened in me all of the pain that needed to be healed. And that's a real thing, y'all, because pain that isn't processed gets projected into your home, into your work, and into your relationships. It gets projected. And so at some point in each role, I would rub shoulders with somebody who reflected back the energy of my father. And boom, I would turn into the Hulk, y'all. I would just Hulk smash, trying to save the day and be a hero. And I use that visual metaphor because that's what it felt like when my trauma was showing up at work. I was being triggered into a stress response, and I didn't even know what that was. I thought I was just passionate. It was the same pattern each time. The passionate energy that got me hired was also the energy that got me fired when it was unconscious and unchecked. It took me 4 times to get that lesson, but I finally got it at Airbnb. And Airbnb started strong, like all the tech companies. There was good money, smart people, big vision. But after years of trying to balance the needs of the customers with this relentless quest for growth at all costs, my armor started to show up again. And I lost the ability to say what I meant without being mean. I started talking about people, not to people. I got so frustrated that I wasn't showing up as the leader I wanted to be. And so in 2018, after a major product launch, I was let go for the last time. I walked out of that office in a total zombie trance, in total shock, because the cumulative failure just hit me like a hurricane. And I rushed for the fastest pain relief that I could find: pills and a party. I don't remember much about that night, but I tell you this in my greatest testimony: that everything went white, and I could hear a voice and a presence from my heart that said, no, not yet. You're not done yet. And all this ends today. I woke up, I called a mentor, and I asked for some help. I said, what's wrong with me? Why does this keep happening? He said, stop right now. You're asking the wrong question. It's not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you. What happened to you that made you respond the way that you respond? Because you are well-intentioned, but poorly implemented. And your opportunity now is to heal your heart so you can hone your gift. And that began the journey of learning how to lay down my armor so I can reconnect with my heart. And so the question is, who would you be without your armor? Who would you be without your armor? Because I got to tell you, I was not the only one out there heavily armored up. You look around, at the world, and we are all armored up. And that's why we need to talk about the one technology we're not talking enough about. The technology of courage. The most powerful of all the technologies in the universe. And guess what? It comes pre-installed right here. This, I'm not going to touch it because I got that mic right there, but this is your heart. And it is an internal compass that we use to align ourselves with the truth. It starts here and works its way out. You have to be in alignment with what it is that you want to do, or the empowerment doesn't work. And so the technology of courage is a 3-step process I've created to help you rediscover your heart, your big, brave heart. And this is how it works. The first is you have to feel big again. And I get it. I know anxiety is being broadcast 24/7, 5 days a week. And so no wonder we all feel disengaged. No wonder we all feel small. But your life is so big. And the fact that you are still here and that you still have your breath means you have another chance to do better and be better and become more of who you were created to be and what you were created to fulfill. So ask yourself, who are you really? And why are you here? And what's really getting in the way? Consider what happens when you can answer that in truth. Second, we have to feel brave again, y'all. We have to feel brave again. And what's interesting is as you start to do the work to feel big, something magical starts to happen. You start to realize that you have agency, that you are responsible for your life, and that you can choose to live it with intention and on purpose. It is possible. And so, can you believe that failure is simply there to nudge you in another direction? Can you believe that life is always, in all ways, speaking to you through the words and the circumstances and the failures if you choose to look at it? That was a big lesson for me, that my entire time my life was trying to tell me, hey, this isn't it, not here, this way. But I was so on my hamster wheel, I didn't get it. It took 4 times. I got the message. And the last is we have to feel our hearts again, y'all. We have to feel our hearts. So many of us think that we can engineer emotions out of the system, and I know that because my husband's an engineer. But the truth is, you cannot. You do vulnerability, or vulnerability does you. That's how this works. And so we have to get out of our heads and into our hearts so that we can access the fuel tank. The fuel tank is not up here. The fuel tank for all empowerment is here. So, can you normalize the discomfort of feeling all of your emotions? It's trying to tell you something. They're just signals. Energy and motion. And emotion is energy and motion. Big, brave heart. That's the technology of courage, y'all. You continually let go of what makes you feel small. You be intentional with your life, and you lead with your heart. And let me tell you, it is a road we walk along, not one that we cross, because I am doing this every day, all day, with my clients and myself. It took a lot of courage to be up in here. I almost canceled this morning, shoot. So, if you are feeling moved by anything that was said, this is your life speaking to you right now, because you are here at this talk right now, and not some other talk about Tupperware or spaceships. So pay attention, because your life is speaking to you, and it's telling you something. So here's what you can do at any time to connect with your heart. This is a real tool available to you starting now for the low, low price of your presence. So if you're open to it, gently rest your hand over your heart and just notice the energy and the vibration and the pulse that comes from that space while I end with this. You could look at me, you could look down, you could close your eyes, whatever's comfortable. So, as you work through your challenges, because we all got challenges, I want you to know you may have made a mistake, but you are not a mistake. You may feel small, but you are big. You may feel scared, but you are also brave. And you may be stuck in your doing, but you are a human being with a big, brave heart. Feel it, follow it, and flow from it. Ask yourself, how willing are you to express the truth of who you are no matter what? When you leave this room today, start the courageous practice of coming back to your heart. Because using your heart, it's about being able to open up your soul and let it flow so that others can see their soul in yours. Thank you.